My life was a shipwreck until Stoicism threw me a lifeline. Have you ever felt lost, like everything around you is falling apart and you don't know what to do next? Well, here are 100 powerful rules that can change your life, just like they changed mine. Let's dive in and discover how you can rise from the chaos, becoming stronger and more at peace with your own life. What is Stoicism? To understand how Stoicism can transform your life, we first need to ask, what exactly is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy that dates back over 2,000 years. It was developed in ancient Greece by Zeno of Citium and later refined by great minds like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. But Stoicism isn't just some outdated theory from the past. It's a practical guide to living a life of virtue, wisdom, and resilience in the face of adversity. In a world that constantly challenges us with chaos, distractions, and uncontrollable circumstances, Stoicism teaches us one simple yet profound lesson. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. The ancient Stoics believed that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances like wealth, success, or fame. Instead, it comes from cultivating inner peace and virtue. They taught that we should focus on what's within our power, our actions, our reactions, and our decisions, while accepting with grace the things beyond our control, such as other people's opinions, the weather, or random events in life. The first key idea of Stoicism is virtue. The Stoics argued that living a virtuous life is the only true good. They identified 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the qualities you should strive to develop in your character. The better you become at embodying these virtues, the more equipped you are to handle life's challenges. The second central principle is wisdom. Stoics believe that wisdom is the ability to see things clearly and rationally, to understand the nature of reality and the way the world works. In practice, this means making decisions based on reason rather than on impulse or emotion. Wisdom is the foundation for making good choices and leading a life of integrity. Then there's resilience. Stoicism teaches us how to bounce back from setbacks, losses, and hardships. The Stoics believe that suffering is inevitable in life, but how we deal with it determines our character. By focusing on developing emotional resilience and maintaining our composure during difficult times, we grow stronger with each challenge. Finally, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of perspective. We often get caught up in viewing the world through a narrow lens, reacting emotionally to things we can't control. Stoics teach us to step back, reframe our thinking, and focus on what truly matters. By practicing mindfulness and reflection, we can maintain peace of mind even when everything around us seems out of control. So why is Stoicism more relevant today than ever before? Because in a time of constant noise, distractions, and uncertainty, it offers us a path to mental clarity and inner peace. It gives us the tools to not only survive, but to thrive in an unpredictable world. Let me share with you some of the most powerful Stoic rules that can help you build that inner strength and wisdom. These are timeless principles that, when applied to our modern lives, can change the way we think, act, and experience the world. The core values of Stoicism. Now that we've explored what Stoicism is, let's dive deeper into the core values that lie at the heart of this ancient philosophy. Values that, when embodied, can reshape how we approach life. These core principles are the foundation of the Stoic way of life and are what guide us through the challenges we face every day. The first value we encounter is virtue, the essence of a Stoic life. The Stoics taught that virtue is the only true good and that all other things, wealth, fame, success, are ultimately indifferent. Virtue is the one thing that remains in our control, and it's the key to living a meaningful life. The Stoic definition of virtue isn't just about being a good person in the conventional sense. It's about actively cultivating a character that aligns with the 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Wisdom is the ability to discern what is true, what is real, and what is the best course of action. It's the skill of understanding yourself and the world around you deeply. In modern terms, wisdom allows you to navigate life's complexities with clarity and purpose. Justice is about doing what is right, treating others fairly, and contributing positively to society. It's the recognition that we are all interconnected and our actions affect the greater whole. Courage is not just about facing physical danger, but about standing firm in your beliefs, making tough decisions, and embracing discomfort when it leads to growth. Courage allows you to step outside your comfort zone and do what is right, even when it's difficult. Temperance is the practice of self-control, moderation, and balance. It teaches us not to overindulge in pleasure or give in to temptation, but to live a life of balance where we control our desires rather than letting them control us. When we live by these virtues, we are not just doing good deeds. We are shaping our character into one that is resilient, wise, and morally upright. Stoics believe that by consistently practicing these virtues, we align ourselves with the natural order of the world. We start living with purpose and direction, grounded in what is truly important. Next, we move to the second value, wisdom, which is about developing the clarity of mind to make sound decisions. This isn't just intellectual knowledge, it's the deep understanding of how life works, how the universe operates, and how to make the best choices in any given situation. A Stoic doesn't make decisions based on emotions or fleeting desires, but on reason and understanding. They ask themselves, what can I control in this situation? And what is the right action, regardless of how I feel about it? By using wisdom as a guide, we don't let external circumstances sway us. We focus on what we can control, our actions, our mindset, and our attitude. Resilience is the third core value. Stoicism teaches us that life is filled with hardship. Pain, loss, and suffering are unavoidable. But Stoics believe that our ability to endure suffering with grace is what defines us. Life doesn't happen the way we want it to. People will disappoint us, things won't go as planned, and we will face setbacks. But resilience means that we do not let these challenges define us. Instead, we use them as opportunities to grow stronger, to become more mentally and emotionally resilient. A key Stoic practice is learning to accept that everything is temporary. This isn't about resignation, but about understanding that the hardship you face today will not last forever. The Stoics believe that every challenge is a chance to practice your virtues and build your inner strength. Memento mori, the reminder of our mortality, is a central concept in Stoicism, not to be morbid, but to encourage us to live fully and mindfully. By accepting that life is fleeting, we can better appreciate the present moment and focus on what truly matters. Finally, perspective is one of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal. The Stoics understood that much of our suffering comes from our own perceptions. It's not the event itself that causes us pain, it's how we interpret it. A Stoic learns to shift their perspective, to view challenges as opportunities, to view setbacks as lessons, and to see adversity as a chance for growth. By reframing our thoughts, we can shift from feeling like a victim of circumstances to becoming empowered by them. For example, if you lose your job, a Stoic doesn't see it as the end of the world. Instead, they might see it as an opportunity to explore new paths, to learn, and to develop new skills. When you're stuck in traffic or dealing with an inconvenience, instead of letting frustration take over, a Stoic would choose to remain calm, accepting that the situation is beyond their control. They would use the time to listen to something valuable or reflect on their day, turning frustration into productivity. These values, virtue, wisdom, resilience, and perspective, are not just abstract ideals. They are actionable practices that can transform how we approach every aspect of life. They provide a framework for making decisions, handling adversity, and living a life of peace and integrity. And the beauty of Stoicism is that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you're facing. These values are always within your control. Whether you're facing a personal crisis, struggling with stress, or just trying to improve your daily life, Stoicism offers you the tools to rise above your circumstances and take control of your destiny. 100 Stoic rules to transform your life. Now that we've explored what Stoicism is and the core values that define it, it's time to dive into the heart of this philosophy. The 100 Stoic rules that can radically transform your life. These rules are not just guidelines. They are actionable principles that will help you navigate life's turbulence with poise, wisdom, and resilience. I'll begin with a few of the most essential rules, those that I've personally found transformative. As we go through these rules, I encourage you to reflect on your own life and think about how each one can be applied to your circumstances. 1. Focus on what you can control. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. In every situation, ask yourself, what can I control? The truth is, you cannot control other people, the outcome of events, or even the future. What you can control is your response, your attitude, and your actions. By focusing only on what you can control, you free yourself from frustration and disappointment, enabling you to act with clarity and purpose. 2. Accept what you cannot control. When you find yourself facing something beyond your power to change, instead of resisting it, learn to accept it. The Stoics taught that resistance to things outside of our control only causes unnecessary suffering. By accepting them, you gain peace of mind and mental freedom. This doesn't mean you resign yourself to misery, but that you stop fighting the inevitable. 3. Practice mindfulness of your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your experience of the world. This Stoic rule encourages you to be mindful of what you're thinking and how it's affecting your emotions. Are your thoughts rooted in fear, anger, or self-doubt? Or are they grounded in rational thinking and clarity? The Stoics believe that by taking control of our thoughts, we take control of our reactions. Practice observing your thoughts, question their validity, and replace negative, irrational thoughts with thoughts of wisdom and rationality. 4. Reframe adversity as an opportunity for growth. We all face challenges in life, but it's how we respond to them that makes the difference. Instead of seeing adversity as something that holds us back, the Stoics encourage us to view it as an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle you face, whether it's a personal setback, a failure, or a hardship, has the potential to strengthen your character. It's not the event itself that matters. It's how you choose to respond to it. Embrace challenges as stepping stones on your path to becoming a better, more resilient person. 5. View life's impermanence as a motivator. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is memento mori, the constant reminder that life is short and uncertain. In our busy lives, we often forget how precious time is. But by contemplating our mortality, we're reminded to live fully in the present, prioritize what truly matters, and avoid wasting time on trivial matters. Every moment is an opportunity to make meaningful choices, to grow, and to live according to your values. 6. Don't seek validation from others. In a world where social approval and external validation are often sought after, Stoicism teaches us the power of self-reliance. Your worth does not depend on what others think of you. Instead of seeking approval from others, focus on building your character based on virtue, integrity, and wisdom. The only validation that truly matters is the one you give yourself when you know you're living according to your own principles. 7. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is a key Stoic practice that transforms the way you perceive the world. Rather than focusing on what's missing or what you lack, the Stoics encourage us to focus on what we already have. Practice gratitude for the small things in life, your health, your relationships, your abilities, and the opportunities you've been given. By doing so, you shift your focus from scarcity to abundance, fostering a mindset of contentment. 8. Let go of attachments. We often tie our happiness to external circumstances, material possessions, achievements, or the approval of others. But Stoicism teaches that attachment to things outside of ourselves only leads to suffering. By letting go of attachments, we free ourselves from the fear of losing them. True happiness comes from within, not from external sources. Practice detachment by appreciating what you have without becoming overly attached to it. 9. Embrace simplicity. The Stoics valued simplicity in both lifestyle and mindset. They believed that the more we complicate our lives with unnecessary desires and distractions, the more we become enslaved to external circumstances. To live a Stoic life, simplify your goals, your possessions, and your routines. Focus on the essentials, the things that bring you true joy and fulfillment, and let go of the rest. 10. Treat every day as a chance for improvement. Every day is an opportunity to practice virtue and become a better person. The Stoics encourage self-reflection and continual growth. At the end of each day, take time to reflect on your actions. Did you act with wisdom? Did you show courage in the face of difficulty? Did you maintain self-control? Use each day as a chance to improve yourself, even if just by a small amount. These 10 rules are just the beginning, but they provide a strong foundation for living the Stoic life. The beauty of Stoicism is that these principles can be practiced by anyone, regardless of their situation or background. Whether you're navigating the stresses of modern life, facing personal loss, or striving to improve your character, Stoicism offers practical tools to help you grow. As you continue to explore these 100 rules, you'll begin to notice a shift in your thinking. You'll stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, and instead, you'll see yourself as an empowered individual capable of taking control of your actions, your mindset, and your life. Life is filled with triggers, stressful situations, difficult people, unexpected events. The question is, how will you respond? A major component of Stoicism is the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When faced with a challenge, take a moment before you act. It's in that moment of pause that the Stoic practice of rational decision-making comes into play. Instead of reacting with frustration, anger, or fear, take a step back and ask yourself, what is the rational response here? What can I control, and what should I let go? The Stoics believe that our natural impulses often lead us to suffer unnecessarily. By practicing this pause, you break free from automatic emotional reactions and choose a response that aligns with your values and principles. This is how you maintain your composure and prevent external events from controlling your emotional state. 3. Practice detachment from external outcomes. Another fundamental principle of Stoicism is the importance of detachment, not in the sense of being cold or indifferent, but in understanding that the outcomes of our actions are beyond our control. It's natural to want to control the outcomes of our efforts. We strive for success, recognition, and approval. But Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the outcome of any situation, no matter how hard we try. The only thing we control is our actions and our intentions. By detaching from the need for specific outcomes, you free yourself from unnecessary disappointment and stress. For example, you may put in hours of work, but whether you succeed or fail in your endeavor is not fully in your hands. Instead of obsessing over the result, focus on the quality of your effort and how you approach the task. Did you act with integrity, wisdom, and dedication? If so, then you have already succeeded, regardless of the external outcome. 4. Build resilience through reflection. Resilience is at the heart of Stoicism. Life will inevitably throw curveballs, loss, failure, mistakes, hardship. But how you recover from these setbacks defines your character. Resilience, according to the Stoics, is a muscle that you can strengthen through continuous practice. When you experience hardship, take time to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? What virtues can I cultivate from this situation? The Stoics believe that every adversity carries with it the seeds of growth. Pain and failure aren't to be feared or avoided. They are opportunities to strengthen your resilience and character. Remember that life's greatest lessons often come through difficulty. By adopting a mindset of resilience, you embrace each challenge as a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future. In every trial, ask, how can I use this moment to grow? It's through this process that you build emotional strength and resilience. Let go of the need for approval. In a world where social validation often dictates our sense of self-worth, Stoicism offers a liberating truth. Your value does not depend on others' opinions of you. This principle encourages self-reliance and integrity over external approval. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that you are enough as you are. Your worth doesn't depend on what others think of you, nor on how successful or powerful you appear to be. Instead, your worth is rooted in your character, your virtues, and your ability to live according to your own principles. When you free yourself from the need for approval, you stop living for others and start living for yourself. You stop making decisions based on fear of judgment and start making choices based on what aligns with your true values. This doesn't mean disregarding feedback or being insensitive to others. It simply means that your sense of self-worth is no longer tied to external validation. 6. Live with purpose, not by accident. Stoicism encourages us to live intentionally, not by chance. The Stoics viewed life as a journey toward wisdom, virtue, and fulfillment, and it is up to us to steer that course. Living with purpose means asking yourself, what is the true meaning of my life? What legacy do I want to leave? What is truly important to me? By living intentionally, you align every action with your greater vision. Every choice you make should move you toward your highest purpose, whether that's growing as a person, contributing to society, or living a life of integrity. The Stoics believe that we should live according to our nature as rational, virtuous beings. This means that every action, whether big or small, should be in service of a greater good. By embracing purpose in every moment, we find deeper fulfillment and meaning in the simplest aspects of life. By applying these Stoic practices daily, you start to shift your mindset, transform your reactions, and cultivate a life of peace and strength. Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about taking small steps every day toward becoming the best version of yourself. When you practice these principles consistently, you begin to experience a profound shift in how you view the world and your place in it. And that's where true transformation happens, focusing on character and action, not circumstances. In the final part of our exploration into Stoicism, we arrive at perhaps the most important lesson of all. Focus on your character and actions, not on circumstances. As human beings, we tend to define ourselves by what's happening around us. Our successes, our failures, our relationships, our external achievements. We give so much of our mental energy to things we cannot control, such as other people's opinions, the challenges we face, or the outcomes of our efforts. But here lies a profound truth that Stoicism teaches us. What truly matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. 1. You are not defined by your circumstances. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism is its ability to shift your focus inward. The Stoics believe that who we are is defined not by external circumstances, but by our internal character, how we choose to act, think, and respond to the world around us. We are constantly faced with situations that test us, be it a career setback, a family conflict, or a personal crisis. But the Stoics remind us that while we can't control the event itself, we can control our reaction to it. Think about it. When something unfortunate happens, maybe a setback at work, a personal disappointment, or an unforeseen obstacle, our natural tendency is to react with anger, sadness, or frustration. We might feel like we've been dealt an unfair hand, like life is out to get us. But when we focus on how we respond, on our character, on our choices, we shift from being passive victims to active participants in shaping our experience. For example, you can't control the behavior of a colleague or friend, but you can control how you respond to their actions. You can choose to remain calm, patient, and compassionate, even if they are rude or difficult. By focusing on your response, you regain control over the situation and maintain peace of mind. The power of self-mastery. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea of self-mastery, the ability to control our impulses, our emotions, and our desires. It's easy to let external circumstances dictate our mood or behavior. We might get angry when we're criticized, frustrated when plans don't go as expected, or anxious about the future. But Stoicism teaches us that these emotional reactions are often the result of our own attachments and expectations. We choose to react in certain ways based on how we perceive the situation. Stoicism encourages us to build the mental discipline to manage our responses, to take a step back before reacting, and to focus on what truly matters: our integrity, our character, and our virtue. It's about not letting external events shake our inner peace. In times of stress or adversity, remember that you can choose how to respond. You can choose to act with calmness, clarity, and purpose. You have the power to master your emotions rather than allowing them to master you. 3. Acting with virtue in every moment. Another key principle in Stoicism is the idea that virtue is the highest good. The Stoics believe that living virtuously, acting with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance is the only true path to happiness and fulfillment. Unlike material success or fleeting pleasures, virtue is something we can cultivate and practice every single day, no matter what external circumstances we face. In every situation, ask yourself, what is the virtuous choice here? How can I act in alignment with my values, regardless of the outcome? Stoicism teaches us that the goal isn't to seek comfort or avoid difficulty, but to act with virtue, to embody wisdom and courage in everything we do. Whether you're facing a challenging conversation with a colleague, making a tough decision about your future, or simply interacting with a loved one, you have the opportunity to act in accordance with virtue. When you focus on your actions, your character, and your integrity, you stop worrying about the uncontrollable factors that surround you. You let go of the fear of judgment, failure, or external approval. Instead, you focus on doing what is right, in alignment with your deepest values. You may not be able to control every outcome, but you can control the quality of your actions. 4. Embracing the present moment. One of the most profound aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on living fully in the present. So often we get lost in the past, regretful over mistakes, ruminating over missed opportunities, or in the future, worrying about what might happen. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the present moment, to focus on what is happening right now, and to direct our energy toward making the most of it. By focusing on the present, we let go of unnecessary distractions, worries, and regrets. The Stoics understood that the present moment is all we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. But the present is within our control. In every moment, you have the ability to act, to choose to grow. And by focusing on the here and now, you stop wasting energy on things you cannot change. The present is the only time that truly matters. When you embrace the present, you stop waiting for the perfect moment to act. You stop letting fear of the unknown or regret about the past hold you back. You learn to live with purpose and intent, making the most of the opportunities right in front of you. 5. Letting go of external expectations. The final aspect of focusing on your character and actions is letting go of the need for external validation. In our modern society, there's constant pressure to meet the expectations of others, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or personal lives. But Stoicism teaches us that the only opinion that matters is your own. Letting go of external expectations means that you stop letting other people's judgments define your worth. Instead of seeking approval from others or living according to their standards, you start living for yourself. You focus on developing a character that aligns with your values, acting with wisdom, courage, and integrity in every moment. By focusing on your own values and actions, you become free from the fear of judgment. You stop letting the opinions of others dictate your happiness or self-worth. You start making choices based on what is true and right, rather than what will gain you the most approval or recognition. And in doing so, you begin to live a life that is truly fulfilling and aligned with your highest self. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that life is about much more than the circumstances we face. It's about our ability to focus on our character, our actions, and how we respond to the challenges and opportunities that arise. By focusing on the internal, on our virtues, our decisions, and our growth, we can navigate life's uncertainties with resilience, peace, and clarity. And when we stop worrying about what we cannot control and instead focus on becoming the best versions of ourselves in every moment, we unlock the true power of Stoicism. The world around us may be chaotic, but within us lies the power to live with purpose, virtue, and inner peace. The role of mindset and reflection in Stoic practice. In Stoicism, there's a crucial component that often goes overlooked: the power of mindset and self-reflection. Stoicism isn't just about learning rules or understanding philosophical principles. It's about how you apply those principles through a mindset shift, a daily practice of self-awareness, and the commitment to become a better version of yourself every single day. This part of Stoicism involves consistently evaluating our thoughts, refining our character, and realigning our perspective to remain rooted in virtue. The Stoics didn't see philosophy as something to be studied merely in theory. Instead, they viewed it as a daily practice, a way of living that involved constant reflection and recalibration. Stoic thought is deeply tied to the practice of becoming aware of our internal state and constantly striving to improve how we engage with the world around us. 1. Mindset, the lens through which you see the world. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world and interpret your experiences. And in Stoicism, one of the most empowering teachings is that we can control our mindset. While we can't control what happens in the world, we have complete control over how we perceive those events and how we react to them. This Stoic concept of perception is incredibly powerful. Imagine you are facing a challenge at work, maybe a difficult project or a tight deadline. Your initial reaction might be stress, anxiety, or fear of failure. But in that moment, Stoicism teaches you to shift your perception. Instead of seeing the situation as a threat, you can view it as an opportunity to practice virtue, to apply wisdom and patience. You can focus on what you can control, the effort you put in, the quality of your work, and your response to the pressure. This is where Stoic mindset comes into play. You are not controlled by external events or challenges. Instead, you have the power to decide how you interpret those events. You can choose to see setbacks as opportunities for growth, hardships as lessons in resilience, and obstacles as ways to practice patience. This shift in perspective is the first step toward emotional freedom. 2. The daily practice of reflection. Stoicism doesn't just advocate for changing your mindset in the heat of the moment, it also emphasizes the importance of daily reflection. This practice of reviewing your actions and thoughts each day is central to the Stoic philosophy. Every evening, the Stoic asks themselves, how did I live today? Did I act with virtue? The Stoics knew that self-reflection was essential for growth. Every day, they would review their actions, what went well, what didn't, and where they could have done better. This practice allowed them to constantly improve their character and ensure that they were staying true to their values. It's in these moments of reflection that we become aware of our weaknesses and our patterns of behavior. For instance, maybe during the day you were caught up in a moment of frustration. Instead of beating yourself up over it, the Stoic reflects, why did I react that way? What could I have done differently? How can I do better next time? This process is not about self-criticism, but about learning and growing. It's about becoming aware of where you stumbled and how you can rise higher the next time. Reflection is also about celebrating the victories, small or large. If you handled a difficult situation with grace or remained calm in the face of adversity, take a moment to acknowledge it. This reinforces positive behavior and reinforces the idea that your character and actions are the true measure of success, not external outcomes. 3. Reframing negative emotions. An essential part of Stoic practice is learning how to reframe negative emotions. When faced with a situation that causes anger, fear, or frustration, a Stoic asks, what is this emotion telling me? How can I respond to this emotion in a constructive way? Stoicism doesn't ask us to suppress our emotions, but rather to understand them. Emotions are natural, but they don't have to control us. If you feel anger or frustration, ask yourself, what triggered this emotion? Is this something I can control or change? Often we find that our negative emotions stem from things outside of our control, such as other people's behavior or unexpected events. Once we recognize this, we can reframe our thoughts and focus on what we can control. I cannot change what happened, but I can control how I react. By reframing the emotion, we can make a conscious choice to respond with calmness and wisdom instead of being ruled by anger or anxiety. This practice takes time, but the more you consciously shift your response to negative emotions, the more you begin to master your internal state. You will stop reacting impulsively and start responding thoughtfully, which will allow you to maintain peace and clarity in challenging situations. Cultivating inner peace and contentment. One of the most profound gifts that Stoicism offers is the ability to cultivate inner peace and contentment, regardless of external circumstances. In a world that constantly demands more success, more possessions, more recognition, Stoicism teaches us that true happiness comes from within. The Stoics understood that external circumstances do not dictate our happiness. Instead, happiness comes from living in accordance with our values and aligning our actions with virtue. The more we practice this, the less we are swayed by external events. Whether we face success or failure, wealth or poverty, love or loss, Stoicism teaches us to find contentment in what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and character. To cultivate inner peace, Stoics practiced detachment from external things. They didn't depend on material possessions, fame, or recognition to feel complete. Instead, they focused on living with integrity, making wise decisions, and practicing self-discipline. By focusing on what truly matters and letting go of attachments to the fleeting aspects of life, we create a lasting sense of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. 5. Embracing the present moment. Lastly, one of the most transformative aspects of Stoic practice is learning to live in the present. Stoicism teaches us that the past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only moment that is truly ours is the present. When we let go of past regrets or future anxieties, we can fully engage in the present. The Stoics believe that we should use each moment wisely, focusing on what we can do right now to align with virtue and purpose. Instead of worrying about what has already happened or fearing what may come, Stoicism encourages us to embrace the present as the only time we truly control. By practicing mindfulness and presence, we reduce unnecessary stress and anxiety, and we cultivate a deeper appreciation for the small moments in life. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, working on a project, or simply breathing, living in the present allows us to experience life fully without being weighed down by the past or the future. Through mindset, reflection, emotional reframing, and embracing the present moment, Stoicism offers us a powerful framework for self-mastery. By consistently applying these practices, we develop a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. Stoicism isn't about achieving perfection. It's about making progress every day, growing closer to becoming the person we are capable of being. Through constant self-awareness and reflection, we can live a life that is grounded in virtue, resilience, and true contentment, regardless of the challenges we face. 3. Consistency in the face of adversity. The true test of Stoic practice is how we respond when things don't go according to plan. Life is unpredictable, and adversity is inevitable. But it is during these times that the power of consistent action and resilience truly shines. We all face difficulties, whether it's a career setback, health challenges, personal loss, or simply a day that doesn't go as planned. In these moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or disheartened. However, the Stoics remind us that this is where true practice lies. It's easy to act with virtue when things are going well, but the real test is how you respond when things aren't. When adversity strikes, you have the opportunity to practice resilience, patience, and courage. You have the opportunity to continue taking action, even when it feels difficult. Every time you face a challenge and remain calm, composed, and grounded, you reinforce your Stoic practice. You remind yourself that this moment, this difficulty, is part of your growth. In fact, Stoicism teaches us that adversity is not something to be avoided or feared. It is through overcoming challenges that we grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that obstacles, rather than being barriers to our progress, are actually the opportunities that allow us to practice Stoic virtues. Every time you face hardship and choose to respond with wisdom, courage, or temperance, you become a stronger, more resilient person. Over time, these actions accumulate, and you become someone who handles adversity with grace, rather than being consumed by it. Building a Stoic routine. A key element of consistent action in Stoicism is creating a daily routine that supports your practice. The Stoics believed in the power of discipline and structure. By setting up a routine that reinforces your values and goals, you can make Stoic practice a natural part of your life. One of the most effective ways to ensure that Stoicism becomes part of your daily life is by creating a routine that incorporates Stoic practices. Start your day with reflection. Take a few minutes to meditate, journal, or simply breathe deeply. This sets the tone for the day and ensures that you approach challenges with a clear, calm mind. Throughout the day, make time for physical exercise, as the Stoics believed in the importance of maintaining a strong body to support a strong mind. Regular exercise, in addition to promoting physical health, also helps you cultivate discipline and resilience. In the evening, take time for reflection. As the Stoics did, review your actions and ask yourself, did I act with virtue today? Where did I succeed and where can I improve? This evening practice of self-reflection ensures that you continuously evolve and grow. By establishing a daily routine based on Stoic principles, you turn wisdom into action. It becomes a natural part of your day, rather than something you need to constantly remind yourself to do. And in doing so, you not only cultivate a life of virtue, but you also build the strength and discipline necessary to navigate life's challenges with grace. 5. The ripple effect of consistent action. Finally, it's important to remember that your actions don't just impact your own life. They influence the world around you. The Stoics believe that by acting virtuously, we contribute to the greater good of society. Every decision you make, every action you take, creates a ripple effect that impacts others. Your consistency in action, day after day, doesn't just change your life. It changes the lives of those around you. When you act with wisdom, courage, and integrity, you set an example for others to follow. Your actions create a ripple effect that encourages those around you to act with the same virtue. And together, through consistent action, we create a stronger, more resilient community. The power of Stoicism lies not only in understanding its principles, but in living them through consistent action. By focusing on small, intentional decisions every day, staying disciplined in the face of adversity, and creating a daily routine that supports your Stoic practice, you build a life of virtue, resilience, and purpose. Stoicism teaches us that true transformation doesn't happen through one grand gesture. It happens through the consistent, everyday choices that shape our character. And in doing so, we not only improve ourselves, but we also create a positive, lasting impact on the world around us. The interconnectedness of all things. Understanding the unity of life in Stoicism. One of the most profound and enlightening aspects of Stoic philosophy is its emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things. The understanding that everything in life, from the smallest event to the grandest of cosmic processes, is part of a larger, interconnected whole. The Stoics believed that we are all part of the same universe, and that our actions, thoughts, and emotions are not isolated. They ripple out and affect the world around us. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that everything is interconnected by a divine, rational order, what the Stoics called the Logos. The idea of the Logos represents the rational structure that underlies the universe, the natural law that governs all life, and the interconnected web of existence. Understanding this interconnectedness is not only essential for developing wisdom and virtue, but it is also key to living in harmony with the world and with others. 1. The concept of the Logos and universal reason. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of Logos is central to the understanding of the universe's rational structure. The Logos refers to the divine reason or rationality that organizes and connects all things in the universe. The Stoics believe that everything in nature is governed by this universal reason, and that we, as human beings, are part of this grand order. The Logos is the reason behind the order of the universe. It's what keeps the stars in their orbits, ensures the seasons change in predictable cycles, and governs the natural world in a harmonious way. As human beings, we are not separate from this grand order. Rather, we are an integral part of it. Stoicism teaches us that to live in accordance with nature means to live in harmony with the Logos. This principle invites us to see ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as part of a vast, interconnected web of existence. Our actions, our choices, and our thoughts are not separate from the rest of the world. They are intrinsically tied to everything else. Just as a single thread in a tapestry contributes to the whole image, each of our actions shapes the larger pattern of life. Understanding this interconnectedness encourages us to act with awareness and integrity, knowing that our actions ripple out into the world in ways we may not immediately see. 2. The unity of all people. One of the most important aspects of Stoic philosophy is its view on human relationships. The Stoics taught that all human beings are fundamentally interconnected. In a world that often divides us by race, nationality, or social status, Stoicism reminds us that we are all part of one global community. This sense of unity calls us to act with compassion, kindness, and justice toward others. The Stoics saw humanity as a single, unified entity. They believed that all people share the same fundamental nature, the capacity for reason and virtue. In this sense, every human being is part of the larger community of the world, and we all have a shared responsibility to act with integrity toward one another. In his work Meditations, Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that all people are part of the same great whole. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. This metaphor emphasizes that the well-being of the individual is tied to the well-being of the community. Our happiness is interconnected with the happiness of others. This is why Stoicism teaches us to act not out of self-interest, but out of a sense of duty to the collective good. This doesn't mean we should ignore our own needs or sacrifices. Rather, it's about understanding that our actions should align with the greater good, and that true virtue lies in helping others, contributing to the welfare of the community, and living as part of something larger than ourselves. By treating others with respect, empathy, and justice, we help build a world that reflects Stoic values of harmony and cooperation. 3. Acting in harmony with nature. The Stoics believe that human beings, as rational creatures, should align themselves with the natural world. By understanding that we are part of a greater cosmic order, we can act in harmony with nature rather than against it. This means embracing the cycles of life, accepting birth, growth, decay, and death as natural processes, and working with them rather than resisting them. Living in harmony with nature means accepting the world as it is, rather than fighting against it. It means understanding that change is inevitable and that all things, including ourselves, are subject to the natural laws of the universe. The Stoics did not see this as a form of resignation. Rather, it was a call to align ourselves with the natural flow of life, to live in accordance with the wisdom of the universe, and to accept the inevitable with grace. For example, just as the seasons change, we too experience cycles in life. There are times of growth and prosperity, but there are also times of hardship, loss, and decay. The Stoic approach is to embrace all of these cycles with equanimity, understanding that they are all part of the greater order of life. When we accept that we cannot control nature's course, we find peace in knowing that we are an integral part of it. This acceptance of the natural order also extends to our own nature as human beings. Stoicism teaches us to embrace our rationality, to act with virtue, and to develop our inner strength and resilience. In doing so, we align ourselves with the Logos, the rational structure of the universe, and find ourselves at peace with our place within it. The role of empathy and compassion. As we reflect on the interconnectedness of all things, it becomes clear that Stoicism's call to empathy and compassion is essential to our practice. By recognizing that every person, every action, and every event is part of a larger whole, we naturally develop a sense of empathy for others. We understand that the suffering of one is the suffering of all, and the joy of one is the joy of all. Empathy in the Stoic sense is not just a feeling, but an active practice. It involves understanding the shared humanity in others, recognizing that we are all part of the same universal web. This means that when we help others, we are, in effect, helping ourselves, because we are all interconnected. When we act with kindness, compassion, and justice, we contribute to the greater harmony of the world. Stoicism calls on us to act with compassion, especially when others are suffering or in need. By practicing empathy, we not only help alleviate the suffering of others, but we also align ourselves with the Stoic principles of justice and virtue. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, contributes to the overall balance and harmony of the world. When we see others' struggles, we recognize them as our own because we are all part of the same collective existence. 5. The cosmic perspective. In addition to our interconnectedness with other human beings, Stoicism encourages us to cultivate a cosmic perspective. This means viewing ourselves not just as individuals, but as part of the entire universe, a tiny yet significant part of a vast and complex cosmos. The Stoics often use the metaphor of the cosmos to remind us of our place in the universe. By recognizing the vastness of the world and the greater cosmic order, we gain perspective on our own lives. Our individual problems, challenges, and victories, while significant to us, are part of a much larger and more complex story. Understanding this cosmic perspective helps us let go of our egos and view life from a broader, more harmonious vantage point. When we see ourselves as part of the larger universe, it humbles us and allows us to focus less on our personal desires or struggles and more on our role in the greater whole. We are all part of the ongoing process of nature, and our actions, while small in the grand scheme of things, are still significant in the context of the collective good. This understanding encourages us to act with greater wisdom, integrity, and humility. By embracing the interconnectedness of all things, we align ourselves with the natural order of the universe and with the shared humanity of others. This sense of unity and understanding brings us closer to living a life of virtue, peace, and harmony. Stoicism teaches us that our actions, thoughts, and emotions are not isolated. They are deeply tied to the world around us. By acting with empathy, compassion, and wisdom, we contribute to the greater good, creating a more just and balanced world for all. When we understand that we are part of a larger whole, we can find greater meaning, purpose, and fulfillment in every moment of our lives. The pursuit of wisdom and virtue, the ultimate goal of Stoic life. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal of life is clear: the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. These two principles form the very foundation of a Stoic existence. And everything we do, our actions, thoughts, and decisions, are aimed at cultivating these qualities within ourselves. But what do we mean by wisdom and virtue, and how do we pursue them in a world full of distractions, challenges, and uncertainty? Let's take a deep dive into the Stoic understanding of wisdom and virtue, exploring how we can make these ideals the guiding forces of our lives. 1. The essence of wisdom in Stoicism. The Stoics defined wisdom as the ability to understand the world in its most accurate, rational form and to make decisions that are aligned with this understanding. Wisdom is not just about knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge in a practical, effective way. It's the ability to discern what is good, what is bad, and what lies in between, and then making decisions that promote harmony, justice, and peace, both in our own lives and in the world. The pursuit of wisdom requires that we look beyond superficial appearances and focus on the deeper truths of existence. It means understanding that there is a larger order to the universe, the Logos, and that our actions must align with this rational structure. Wisdom teaches us to discern between what we can control and what we cannot, and to accept the latter with grace and equanimity. For instance, when faced with conflict or a challenging decision, a wise person pauses to reflect on the bigger picture. They ask themselves, what is the right thing to do here? How can my actions align with the greater good? What will contribute to my long-term peace of mind and personal growth, rather than just a short-term benefit or comfort? Wisdom, then, is about seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. It's the ability to act in accordance with reason, rather than being swayed by impulsive desires, fears, or external circumstances. 2. The Stoic virtues: courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. In Stoicism, virtue is the highest good. Everything else in life, whether it's pleasure, success, wealth, or even relationships, is secondary to virtue. The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Each of these virtues represents a key component of the Stoic way of life, and it's through practicing them consistently that we grow closer to our true nature as rational, virtuous beings. Courage is not simply about physical bravery, it's about facing life's challenges with strength and resolve, even when the outcome is uncertain or difficult. Courage allows us to act according to our principles, even when we are afraid or uncertain, and to persevere in the face of adversity. Courage in the Stoic sense is the willingness to act in accordance with our values and virtues, no matter the personal cost. It's the inner strength to stand up for justice, to confront difficult emotions, and to pursue the truth, even when it requires great personal sacrifice. It's not about avoiding fear, but about moving forward despite it. Justice is about treating others fairly, respecting their rights, and acting in ways that benefit the greater good. For Stoics, justice is a fundamental duty to the community and to the world at large. It is the acknowledgement that we are all interconnected, and that our actions impact those around us. Justice in Stoicism isn't just about following laws or social norms. It's about doing what is right for the collective well-being of all. It's about seeing beyond individual desires and recognizing the shared humanity in others. Justice encourages us to contribute to society in ways that benefit others, to protect the vulnerable, and to act with integrity, even when no one is watching. Temperance is about self-control and moderation. It means avoiding excess, whether in our desires, our actions, or our consumption of material goods. Temperance teaches us to remain balanced and focused on what truly matters, rather than giving in to fleeting pleasures or indulgences. Temperance isn't about renouncing pleasure altogether. Rather, it's about cultivating self-discipline and moderation. It's about making conscious choices that align with our long-term goals, rather than giving in to momentary desires that ultimately lead to harm or dissatisfaction. By practicing temperance, we develop the ability to make decisions that contribute to our well-being and happiness, without overindulgence or excess. 3. The pursuit of virtue as the path to happiness. In Stoicism, virtue is not a means to an end, but the end itself. It is through the practice of virtue that we find true happiness and fulfillment. While modern society often teaches us that happiness comes from external sources, material wealth, success, or recognition, Stoicism teaches that true happiness is found in the cultivation through practical steps for pursuing wisdom and virtue. Now that we've explored the Stoic understanding of wisdom and virtue, how do we begin to actively pursue them in our own lives? The Stoics offer us practical advice on how to develop these qualities on a daily basis. The first step in the pursuit of wisdom and virtue is self-reflection. At the end of each day, reflect on your actions and choices. Did you act with wisdom? Did you show courage when you were afraid? Did you treat others with justice? Did you practice temperance in your desires and actions? By reviewing your actions regularly, you become more aware of where you can improve and how you can continue to align your life with Stoic principles. Another key practice is mindful action. Rather than reacting impulsively to situations, take a moment to pause and reflect on what the virtuous course of action would be. Ask yourself, what is the right thing to do here? What decision aligns with my values and my highest self? By making this a habit, you train yourself to act with greater wisdom and virtue, and over time, these decisions become automatic. Lastly, embrace adversity. The Stoics saw challenges and difficulties as opportunities for growth. Rather than avoiding hardship, lean into it. Whether it's a difficult conversation, a personal setback, or an emotional challenge, embrace it as an opportunity to practice resilience, patience, and courage. Through adversity, you cultivate the virtues that lead to true happiness and fulfillment. The final goal, becoming your best self. Ultimately, the pursuit of wisdom and virtue is not about achieving perfection. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. A person who lives with integrity, acts with courage, treats others justly, and practices moderation. The journey to virtue is ongoing, and every day presents new opportunities to grow and learn. Stoicism teaches us that the ultimate goal of life is to live in harmony with our nature as rational, virtuous beings. By pursuing wisdom and virtue, we not only become better individuals, but we also contribute to the greater good of society. We align ourselves with the natural order of the universe, and we find true fulfillment in living a life of integrity and purpose. The pursuit of wisdom and virtue is a lifelong journey, but it is through this pursuit that we find the peace, happiness, and fulfillment that we are all searching for. Every decision, every action, and every thought is an opportunity to move closer to the best version of ourselves. And in doing so, we create a life of meaning, impact, and lasting happiness. The pursuit of wisdom and virtue is at the heart of Stoicism. It is not just an abstract goal, it is a way of life. By focusing on cultivating wisdom, practicing courage, acting justly, and living with temperance, we align ourselves with the true purpose of existence, to live a life of virtue. Through consistent practice, reflection, and mindful action, we become the people we are meant to be, wise, virtuous, and fulfilled. As we conclude this journey into Stoic philosophy, It's important to remember that Stoicism isn't just a set of ideas. It's a way of life. The pursuit of wisdom, the practice of virtue, and the acceptance of life's natural flow can transform our daily existence, enabling us to live with greater clarity, resilience, and peace. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, our thoughts, and our responses, we find a deeper connection with ourselves, with others, and with the universe around us. The Stoics remind us that life is unpredictable, full of challenges and hardships, but it's how we choose to respond that defines our path. We can't always control the events in our lives, but we can control how we face them. By living with virtue, embracing wisdom, and staying consistent in our practice, we empower ourselves to lead meaningful, fulfilling lives. So I invite you to take the next step. Start practicing Stoic principles today. Reflect on your actions, seek wisdom in every moment, and embrace the challenges that come your way. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, or simply pausing to reflect on your thoughts and decisions, begin weaving Stoicism into your daily routine. And remember, the journey to wisdom and virtue is a lifelong pursuit, but every small step counts. Today is a new day, a fresh opportunity to grow and live with purpose. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with more insightful content on personal growth, philosophy, and practical wisdom. Share this video with anyone you think could benefit from Stoic teachings and leave a comment below. Let me know what Stoic principle you plan to apply in your life today. Take action, be intentional, and let Stoicism guide you toward a life of meaning, peace, and resilience. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.